yeah, you know what? I'll grab a cookie and I'll try to squeeze it with my butt cheeks, just to squeeze it so it holds there. And I'll go to the guys, hi, with you. So that's what I did. So as I tried to squish the cookie with my butt cheeks, I kind of squished it maybe too hard. Anyways, it kind of crumbled everywhere, but there was still a little bit of chocolate chip cookie, and that stuck in my butt crack.
I'm super excited. We don't have much to talk about for hockey because we just had the bye week. We got a game tomorrow we'll talk about. We're on a 4-game losing streak. So no better time to have probably one of my favorite Lightning players of all time. And for a lot of you guys that have been watching the Lightning since the start, you're going to remember this guy. So why wait? I know I haven't even let you say a word yet, Thomas, but we got to bring him on right now. You know I'm right, wants him. He's chanting already. Lightning great. Stanley Cup champion, Andre Waugh, joins We the Thunder.
Andre. Right on. How's it going, guys? Shooter, Schoolie, how you guys doing?
We're doing good.
Long week, eh?
How's life for Andre Waugh? When's the last time you were in Tampa?
I was there, maybe 2 months ago now. I did the fantasy camp that was held in Tampa, about a month and a half ago, 2 months. Anyways, there was Andrew Chuck, myself, Jason Collimore, Matthew Garon, a couple of us, and people experience a training camp, I guess, with us. So we go on the ice, off ice. We go on the ice, do some practice drills, and then also played some games. That was the whole weekend, so it was a good time. I love going back to Tampa. It's always a blast going there, seeing everyone that are there, all friends, and it's always so many memories. Your intro, just the horn that brings so much memories for myself. So, like I said, so much fun. Yeah.
With all that alumni together, I'm sure there was an alcohol shortage in Tampa that week.
Yeah.
Just cracked one open, Schoolie.
There was obviously, every time we get together, although we needed to get up early in the morning, but still, every time we get together, obviously, beer or 2 or 12 is always involved, but that's what makes it even funner. And so lots of fun, lots of laugh, obviously. So
And you also came back for the last Lightning Hall of Fame induction.
Oh yeah,
right. That was Torts and a couple other players. I heard that was quite the party as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's way more guys. Like the fantasy camp, there's maybe 7, 8 of us. Obviously, when you do the Cup reunion, the 20th, there was way more guys than the 10th, because I was there at the 10th also that we did. Torts was with the Vancouver Canucks at that time, so they always wait till he's in town just so we're all together, right? So, but we were missing still Habby Boulin. Guys were still playing, like Le Cavalier, St. Louis back then. Nolan Pratt, I think, is an assistant coach also with the Avs, so he wasn't there. So this one, the 20th, we're missing maybe 3-4 guys compared to 7 guys. See back those guys anyways. But it's a good time, man, for sure, a lot of drinking for sure,
And that was the game that Torts got tossed out of, and he was refusing to leave. Exactly. And they showed you guys up in the box, up in the suite, watching it and just laughing like, yeah, that's Torts.
Exactly, that's Torts, and I'm howling because he was the one always, Andre, I need you under control. If not, I can't play you. Can't fucking play you, Andre. I need you under control. So when I saw him like that, and when I see him lose his shit behind the bench, sorry, pardon my language, but I think it's so funny, because he's like me. We're very emotional. We're in the game. We're passionate. And when things get a little fired up or whatever, sometimes we go a little a little overboard. Let's put it that way. But it was funny. Yeah, we're in the suites and we're like, look at Torts, look at Torts. Anyways, it's pretty fun. But fun night overall. Lots of drinking, and it's good. Some guys I haven't seen since we won the cup, so you see them, and we share so many stories. Really a fun time.
I went to Greg Wolf tonight, and I said, Greg, he's been back here for these reunions. We've seen him for the Hall of Fame ceremonies. What about the cruise? And I said, because everybody that I talked to, neither one of us got to go on that cruise, but everybody that I talked to, there was some problems during the cruise, but they said the thing that made that cruise was you on there. They said all was the cruise between you and Lukowicz, that it was just completely that they would pay that money for that again. And I was talking to Greg, and Greg said one night he was going to dinner with his wife. He's like, and he's walking in the dining room, and all he can hear is just someone laughing and being loud. And he goes, I guarantee you Wall's sitting right there. And he walked in, and there you were.
Yeah.
He said, I knew it had to have been him because everybody was laughing and everybody was loud. So how did you like that Bolts cruise? Because they're not doing one this season. And from what I hear, there's not any planned anytime soon.
Oh.
How did you like that? Everybody told me you made that cruise.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was really fun. Like, I've been on a cruise before, but it's like a 3-night thing, but it's just fun. It's just fun. I mean, we had a bunch of fans join us, but every day, like you said, we had our stuff that we did, either ball hockey, in the front of the cruise there. They had a little place for us where they build a ring. Ball hockey, we had some quiz trivias. One night I went karaoke with Lukowicz. It was hilarious. People were singing, were standing up, but just a couple drinks in me and I'm gone. It's party. And I think that's what it's all about. We wanted to make it fun for everyone, including the people that came out to see us. And I think they didn't leave disappointed. I think it was fun. Luke was awesome too. One morning he came out with a Speedo with a thong, walking on the pool deck. I was howling. It was so funny. And we had Mr. Esposito also, and Andrew Chuck. Who else was there? Chief also. Chief, yeah. So there's a couple of us, Freddie Modine anyways, but it was fun. And I know it's a lot of, it costs some money. Mr. Vinnick also, when we had the reunion, said, I heard it was fun on the cruise. You made it fun. I was like, it was unreal. I thank him for that. But I did mention it'd be fun if we could do it again. And I get it that, it costs, there's fees a lot behind that. But I think we could make it work maybe in the future, because it was really a fun time. And you're close to the fans. And, every night we had dinner, and we played casino also. So it was a 3-day that seemed like it was a week, because we just kept going with beers and that. But people think we're alcoholic. No, but we're on a cruise, so we want to have fun. But that was my mission too, to make it fun and make sure everybody has fun. And that's how I was also as a player, keep it loose, keep it fun. There's time to be serious, but I think there's time to have really some fun. And I'm the light of the party, like you say.
The cruise director.
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably my biggest regret from last year, is not going on that cruise. We had Joyce and Debbie jump on this show because they were at the cruise, so they jumped on and gave us kind of a review right after it. But come on, hopefully Vinnick puts it together again, or the new guys.
Absolutely.
New owners now, new majority.
I think we'll pay for our own cruise to go and party and have fun again.
I was saying, you need to do an Andre Wall cruise. I guarantee you that one would fill up just as quick.
Oh, yeah. It would be awesome. Lukowicz was saying, we bring bands. Like, I know some bands. We bring bands on the cruise with us. We party all night. People love it. I was like, yeah, good idea. Bring whatever, all kinds of personalities, and make it fun,
I mean, you have Chris Jericho, who has that band Fozzy. He sells out his cruise every year. You get one of the loudest ovations here in Tampa every time you come back. I don't know of any former player, minus like Marty St. Louis, Vinny LeCavier, the big names, the captains, you get one of the loudest cheers at any time you're announced at any of these reunions, and you're one of the, when you do the blue carpet, everybody's asking for your autograph,
Yeah.
Wall, Andre,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
don't even know what side to go to. And half the times you're stopping and signing for everybody, and they're coming and getting you and say, hey, you're late, let's go. And dragging you inside the building. So you're a huge fan favorite still here.
Yeah.
Where are you living nowadays? Are you up in Canada?
Yeah, I'm Canada now, up in Montreal, actually, Montreal, Canada. I grew up here. Obviously, I'm born in New York, so I have dual citizenship. I could maybe come work for the Lightning, but I haven't had any offers yet. Let's go, wake up. But
Talk to some
no.
people tomorrow.
Yeah, but hey, seriously, I'd love to move to Tampa. Eventually, it's something I'm looking forward to because I love Tampa. Every time I go there, it's a blast. The 5 years I spent there was amazing. So, but now I came back here after I retired just because my family's here, basically, and I came back. My friends also, and I started working doing TV and stuff here in Montreal. So, and never really went anywhere else from this. So since I retired, I mean, so, but I'm always open to maybe do whatever, obviously somebody calls me for whatever, either always people are like, would you like to coach that? I would, but it all depends where, what, and what's my role in that, or just involved, let's say with the Lightning. I know I could go to Tampa and just go as an alumni, go to the games and shake hands, talk with people, which is fine. But I'm still, I still need to work a little bit before I semi-retire. Let's put it that way, But back to fans in Tampa, man, they're awesome. I've had fun throughout my career everywhere I played, but I gotta say Tampa was my favorite spot. I don't know. Obviously, we won the cup; it was unreal, but to have a full building or almost a full building chanting your name. I tell people about it still today, like they were chanting, we want Wa, we want Wa. It's unreal just for me because you're not a star player. You rarely get first, second, third star, whatever, but you go out there, throw some hits, get in a fight. The game turns around. The team comes back. You win the game. People won't talk about that moment that much. They'll talk about the 2 goals of Le Cavalier, which is okay. The 1 goal of Dan Boyle or Richards, whatever. But that's a way to me that fans appreciated what I did. So I'll always be recognized. What's the word? I'll always be
recognized.
Yeah, I'll already and I appreciate the fans for that. I mean, this is something I'll cherish with me for the rest of my life for sure, And when people always ask me, and how was it, that? And I say, man, it was unreal. Fans were chanting my name. And I remember I flew my brothers one time in Tampa, and they came to the game, and they were asking, like, are they chanting my brother's name really? Like, and the people around, whatever, they were like, yeah, they are. They were like, wow, it's pretty special anyways, but that was awesome, They were always great to me, and I always appreciated. Tampa was just awesome, and fans too. I like to take time also with fans signing stuff, pictures, whatever, because they're out there waiting for you, and I know how it can be because I was that kid also waiting outside for autograph when I was a kid from star players or whatever, pro players. So that's something I always want to take time, even between periods. They bring us in the concourse and to sign at the table, whatever. Sometimes there's 10 people left. Andre, let's go. I'm like, no, let me finish it. I'll do everyone autograph pictures, whatever, talk with them. Just, they're there for me, and I'll take whatever time it takes for them,
Now, do you think it was, I think it's a combination, but do you think it was just kind of your style of play, which is, popular with any NHL team? Like, you were kind of one of the dying breeds of that enforcer, like that pesky guy pissed off the other team, which we loved, right? Like the closest we've had to that was kind of like a Pat Maroon during the recent Cup years. Or was it rapping with Wah on Sun Sports? And the question here is, and I'm gonna pull it up here. I'm gonna turn the volume down because this is basically the only place I could find this on YouTube.
Look at young Andre right there.
It's some guy holding his phone up to the TV. But I remember watching this with a friend of our show, our guy Ty, and this is really like, we loved your style of play, but we could not wait for the next segment of Rappin' with Wah. How did this happen? Did they just ask you to start doing this?
Yeah, I think they did mention something, but I think I just grabbed the mic of Paul Kennedy. Yeah, one day, and I just started like walking around and just being silly with the microphone, and they kind of loved it. And guys knew how I could be also, in the room. So Danny Boyle was my roommate, so he was pretty comfortable with me. And I went on to Danny. I'm not sure what I'm asking him right now, but I'm tossing the mic in his face right here, just being silly like that. Who's your favorite wrestler? Or I know he's.
What would you be if you weren't a hockey player?
That's right. That's right. And I think they did give me a couple questions to go out and ask the players. And I did one, then I started doing two, and I did a couple. But it was pretty popular because I got to say, still today, people still talk to me about that show. They're like, I remember when you did the Rapping with Wah or Santa Wah during the holidays too. I remember wearing a Santa Claus beard and a toque, and then just going around. But that Rapping with Wah, yeah, just asking questions, being silly, and kind of catching guys, surprise them like with different questions. There's Shane O'Brien coming out of the shower.
What do you think he said he would have been if he wasn't a hockey player?
Yeah, was it a cop or something? Maybe not. Oh no, a Playboy, yeah, calendar model. Yeah, a model, but I don't know. Have you seen him today? I'm not sure his model career could. Hey, but that's amazing. I haven't seen that in years and years, just to see that. But you're right. I was asking guys, what would you've been if you wouldn't have played hockey? And it was pretty fun because guys played along and had fun with it, and it was more open too, I think, back then. Now guys are just by the book, so strict and shy and scared to say something at the camera. I think people love that. They want to hear you. They want to hear stuff, silly stuff, and just different things than just talking hockey sometimes. I think fans love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and back then, you had Vinny on mic and Marty, and those guys were so serious all the time. Brad Richards.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was good to kind of see you out there. And
I think they, in front of the camera, they want to have that serious image, the star player and that. But I can tell you, behind closed doors, when I would just do whatever silly things. I know sometimes we'd put a song like Metallica, Nothing Else Matters, and I would come on. And I would bring like a little blanket and pretend like I'll do lap dance to the boys, They would just howl. They would be laughing, I'd pretend like I'm growing up in Montreal. Obviously, you guys know that's all there was here. A lot of gentlemen's club. So I just would come in and walk and pretend like I'm a dancer with this slow walk towards the guys. And just they'd be like, get away from me. And just, but guys would love that, once in a while, just take our mind off hockey, just have some laughs, and so
now there is a rumor that back when we won in 2020, no, it must have been 2021, the back-to-back, there was a rumor that the Florida Panthers had gone to a gentleman's club, and that kind of helped the Lightning get past that round and eventually go on to win the cup that year. Now, some people have not heard the story. And the reason why I'm asking this is because Kim, who's in the chat right now, was asking about, do you have any funny plane stories? And I'm like, are you trying to like set this up for the plane story that people have heard about 2004? Can you give us, I know you've told it before, Brad Richards the first one that told me. Can you give us like the short version of the cookie on the plane ride that obviously led to us winning the Stanley Cup, our first?
Yeah, I think Richie shared it on Spitting Chicklets. I did too, but anyways, and different podcasts because it's a story that goes. And I do hockey events, and they bring us in front for a hot stove where they ask us questions. Everybody kind of hears about it, but what's that story? So here it is. We in Philly, Game 6, we're up 3-2 after losing that game. We were up by 2 goals, I think, with 5 minutes left towards the end there. They pulled their goalie, made it, I don't know if it was 3, whatever. I don't remember, but I think we're up by 2. They scored, then they tied it. We went to overtime, and they scored again. So we lost that game thinking we were heading to the Stanley Cup Finals. So obviously a lot of disappointment, right? We're going back to Tampa for Game 7, and from the rink to the airport, not a sound in the bus. Everybody's so just quiet, dead quiet, like we just lost the series, and I get it too. Myself, I was disappointed because for sure we thought we were going past the Flyers and go to the finals at that time. So we head in the plane. It's pretty hot. It's humid. It's warm. We're waiting. And as we're about to take off, one of the flight attendants passed out. She fainted. She didn't feel good. I don't know. It was too hot. She didn't eat all day. And while that happened, Marty St. Louis sat next to me in my seat, and he's like, Andre, you got to do something to just change the mood, change it. I was like, yeah, I know, Marty, but I don't know. I got nothing in mind right now. What do you want me to do? He's like, I don't know. Think of something. Do something, anything, just to change the mood on the plane, So I was like, yeah. And then when that happened, the flight attendant kind of fell in the aisle there of the plane aisle. So as we turned around, what the hell? Our trainer came back. I think our doctor was on the plane. They're looking after us. Like, oh yeah, I got it. So I went in the back, and the other flight attendant was there. I was like, hey, do you have an extra apron I could borrow? She's like, what are you gonna do, Andre? I was like, never mind what I'll do. Just, do you have an extra apron? Please. He'll take 2 minutes. I'll give it back to you. All depends what he's doing. I think, never mind. Just give it to me. So anyway, she's like, they're up there. Grab one. So I grab one, and I shut the curtain in the back. I get butt naked. I put the apron on, and I tied it behind my back. So obviously, that my back is completely uncovered, like at the hospital. So you could see my booty in the back. So I was like, I'll be a flight attendant and I'll serve meals. Guys will love that. But with naked, it'll be even better. I'll bring it a little notch over, So so I'm like trying to find a plate to serve, but the food wasn't ready. It was all warming up. So there's this cookie tray. I was like, fuck it. I'll just grab the cookies and I'll just go and just for the joke. So the guys kind of laugh and that, and I was a little worried about Torts, but Marty told me, fuck Torts, I'll back you up, sorry for my F-bombs anyways, but.
Oh no, so we're that kind of show. You can say as much as you want.
All right. I don't want to insult anyone. Anyway, so I opened, as I go past the little curtain, I was like, hey, you know what? I'll grab a cookie and I'll try to squeeze it with my butt cheeks, just to squeeze it so it holds there. And I'll go to the guys, hi, with you. So that's what I did. So as I tried to squish the cookie with my butt cheeks, I kind of squished it maybe too hard. Anyways, it kind of crumbled everywhere, but there was still a little bit of chocolate chip cookie, and that stuck in my butt crack. Let's put it that way. Anyways, so I go open the cookie, and open the curtain, and then they're looking after the flight attendant right there. But I go by her, and I like, sorry guys, I'm the new stewardess. My name is Andresko. I'll be your server tonight. Would you like a cookie? We got chocolate chip cookie, macadamia. How about you, Dave? And then guys turn around, they're laughing. So I walked all the way in the aisle, and I was like, would you like a cookie? But I'm flexing with my butt, I'm turning towards the guys, like, really? And then I pretend I drop something. I bend over. The guys are like, come on. And then guys are just laughing. And then I kind of leaning against their arm rest, where their arm rests. So I put my foot on it, and I'm like, so how did it go tonight? Good game. But while I'm doing that, the other guy on the other seats sees all my behind, right? So guys are like, Andre, get out of here, you're gross. But guys had a good laugh. Even Torts turned around, was like, what's going? Is that Andre again? Then I guess he laughed. But Nigel, all the guys, there was the two media on the planes too. Eric was there anyways, but the whole crew, the whole guys on the plane started laughing, and then I just, you know what, I'll just keep serving meals, and the food was ready, so I kept just going out with the, would you like chicken parm? We got chicken marsala, beef tips, so I was in my role just fooling around, serving meals there up and
I
down.
don't think anybody on the plane was wanting your beef tips, Andre.
No, exactly.
They didn't want to see where that was going to come from.
Exactly. So I was just like, walking around. Anyways, guys laughed. They had a good laugh. So I always say, we won game 7 because I shoved the cookie in my butt. So anyways.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I was in the last row for that game 7. So thank you for that. That was a memorable experience.
And then Marty was like this, Andre, high five. I love it. Andre, that's what I'm talking about. Ooh. Then I even woke up the other flight attendant. She was like, oh my God, what's going on? So anyways, it was a high for everyone on the plane. Anyway,
I mean,
we had some good chuckles.
There's a lot of good stories that came out of that 2004 Stanley Cup win. But a story that I've read is how you spent your day with the cup. How did you spend your day with the cup? I want to see if it's what I read, because this, I don't think I've actually ever seen this happen before. You always see the babies in the cups. When we had Coleman did that with his babies when he had his kids down here and we won the back-to-back cups. So you see that happen a lot. But what you do with your day with the cup?
Yeah, well, obviously we have it one day, right? So you got to plan it perfectly. So it just it's a great day that you'll remember forever. So I had a good buddy of mine that he organized Marty Brodeur with the Devils back a couple years back. He took care of it. He organized it, and he's like, "Hey, I'll take care of your if you're interested. I don't mind," because I was friends with him too. So he's like, I know it's a big day. You'll be busy, but I can look after organizing everything. And then he kind of gave me the plan of the day. And I was like, yeah, that sounds perfect, So I started with the guy with the cup getting to my house here. And I spent times just with the family, my dad, mom, brothers, wife, all that, girlfriend. And just a close family, just to enjoy it and just talk and that. And after 2 hours, I was heading to my hometown, but I live by a golf course here in Montreal. So my buddy had an helicopter. He planned out having an helicopter picking me up at the golf course and bringing me to my hometown, which is 20 minutes away, about in the air, let's say. So I was like, oh, really? Okay, that's pretty cool, So the helicopter lands, and as I'm just there with the cup and we're talking with everybody together, the pilot comes out, and there I see Guy Lafleur, Hall of Famer, legend, Montreal Canadian, Guy Lafleur. He's in the Hall of Fame. For people that don't know him, anyways, you can always Google him. But what a career! He was like a star player, and I watched him as a young kid. I remember watching him playing for the Montreal Canadiens. I was like, oh my God. So I see him there and I'm like, oh, Mr. Lafleur, are you coming with me with the cup and that? I know you won the cup. He's like, no, I'm your pilot. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, I'm going to be the one driving you to your hometown. And I was like, no, wait, come on. And then I remember I'm hugging him. I'm like, you're my idol, Flower. I can't believe it. And I'm hugging Guy Lafleur. He's like, all right, get away from me. I know he didn't say that. He was so nice. He shook my hand, but it was unreal. I was like, what's this? Then my buddy's laughing. He's like, that's my surprise from me to you. Anyways, I was like, oh, thank you so much. It was pretty awesome anyways. But during that cup day, I had in mind propose to my girlfriend at the time. So we took off, obviously, and I had the little ring, the box, and the little box here all wrapped up and that, and I put in the cup while my girlfriend was in the helicopter with me, but she was looking outside. She, didn't feel too good just because we're blah, 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 how it is, So I was like, hey, well, look at the cup. It's weird. Something's weird. She's like, oh, now right now I don't feel good. I was like, no, but it's all like there's something weird in the inside. Is that normal? She's like, I don't know. Just that she was like the flight attendant. I don't feel good. It's so warm right now. Don't talk to me.
You're
then
just
after 2 times, I was like, just look at the cup, would you already? And she's like, what's this? Then she thought it was a pair of earrings, whatever. And I said, open it. Then she saw the ring. So I proposed to my girlfriend at the time. So, she said yes. And it turned out an engagement day and a Stanley Cup day. So, I think I was the first one to do that. So, something I thought about, and my buddy said, yeah, you should, it's a good idea. So I did that, so who said that tough guys weren't romantic? I'm pretty romantic.
I was going to say, you're romantic, you're the jokester, and then to have the flower as your pilot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's who can say that he was the pilot and you got engaged with the Stanley Cup and in a helicopter. I mean, it's definitely like that is one that can never be duplicated like that.
Absolutely.
So it's a really cool story. And when I was talking to Greg Wolf tonight, he said, you were coming on our podcast and you've done other podcasts, Ben and Chicklets and some others.
Yeah.
There was talk before about you starting your own podcast. Why has there not been? And there's always room for a third co-host on here.
I've had that a lot. People are like, you should have your own, I'm not really good with setups and computers and hooking up, whatever. I don't think it's that complicated. And I'm sure there's so many people that could help me out with that. But I was doing a little bit of radio, TV, but starting last year, towards the end of the year, I started doing someone here, but it's mostly on the Montreal Canadiens because I'm here, so I see the Habs playing, and we talk about their roster and games. And Marty St. Louis, the head coach here, and I know he's taking a lot of heat, and I'm trying to protect Marty too. I know he's doing a good job, but they're a young team. But people will want result here. They're like, ole, ole. People are sometimes a low cuckoo pop. So
is he going to make it till the end of the season?
I think he will. He will, even though things get ugly. I think they'll still keep him because, like I said, I don't think, even though if you bring the best coaches ever, Scotty Bowman, let's say Joel Quenneville, I don't know if he had the okay from the NHL. He was a coach with the Blackhawks.
Yeah, he's got the okay to come back.
Yeah, so Joel Quenneville, known as a great head coach or whatever, even though Scotty Bowman or John Cooper, I don't think they could do miracles. They're a young team. They're still learning. They're doing a lot of mistakes defensively, giving lots of shots. The goalies aren't Andrei Vasilevsky or Sergachev, and I say that with all respect, but it's true, They're okay, Sam Montembeault and Caden Primo, but they're still a little it's tough this year. Anyways, everything is complicated. So that's what my point was, like, even though we bring the best coach, I don't think we'll see a huge change. So then maybe they'll wait till the end of the year if they really want to fire Marty or make a change. I think he'll finish the year here, and we'll see next year. But
Tampa fans are brutal and are always wanting coaches fired, but any of those teams, those original six, they will call for your head with just 3-game losing streak. They're ready to get rid of you.
Exactly. You guys see the survey of players in the league, which coach they would love to play for?
Cooper.
Everyone is Cooper. You have a good one, I think, in Tampa. I would have loved to play for John Cooper myself.
You can.
I could. I'll sign that. I could be the 23rd forward, a couple shifts here and there with the elbow. Here we
go. Well, your style of play is definitely a bit of a dying breed. And I think there's a lot of Bolts that are a little upset on this year's roster is we don't have a player like you. We had a guy last year named Tanner Jeannot, and he was fun to watch. That guy did not want to fight, but we traded him in the offseason. So now we kind of got a little bit of a hole in the lineup. We're not that big bruising team, although we got some big guys on the team. But
that's
they seem to be a dying breed. But I don't want to talk about your fighting. We will in a second, because I think it's really funny. I don't know if you ever look at your stats, but you have hilarious stats just to read. And we'll go over that in a second. But I want to ask you about your first goal. So these days, we saw Connor Geeky score his first goal. Great rookie player for the Lightning, picked up through the circuit.
He's going to be good, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be awesome. So, he scores his first goal, gets the puck. Do you remember scoring your first goal? Did you get the puck? Did you get to keep it? I believe you were on the Ottawa Senators, right?
Yeah. I for sure. I how can I forget? First, and not that I didn't score many. I think I got 35 in my career, which is not bad for a guy that didn't play much. They should have played me more, Tort? But no, just kidding. But my first goal was with the Ottawa Senators, playing the Toronto Maple Leafs. Goalie in net was Curtis Joseph, which is a pretty good goalie. He's an elite goaltender. So for me, I didn't score, and it wasn't an ugly goal. I remember coming in, I was on the line with Sean Van Allen and Kevin Dineen. They're older guys. Obviously, Google them. People will be who. But I remember Dineen giving it to Van Allen, and Van Allen coming in the blue, dropped the puck and just kind of went to the net. And I was following like a trailer pass, sort of. So I was right there behind, top of the circle. I cranked it. People know, I always had a pretty good slap shot. That was one of my weapons, I would say. My shot was always pretty good. I didn't use it like I should have, but anyways, I took a slapper and beat Cujo glove side. So for me, I remember I took the slapper and it went right in the net, and I was just like this, just jumping in the air, and I went all the way in the glass, and woo, it's just an unreal feeling just to score your first goal like that. And I think it was in October too, early October. So the season just started. I don't know which game, but it's in October. So it was the start of the year. So sometimes you're worried, well, will I ever score in this league a goal? When? And will it take 3, 4, 5 months? No, I scored right away. So it was a relief for me. But I remember, especially against Cujo, that was just awesome, So good times. 99, yeah.
That's a good first goal story. That's
absolutely
good goalie, a nice shot.
And obviously you do know your stats, because you nailed the goal. You have 35 goals.
It's 35, yeah.
17 of them was when you were with the Tampa Bay Lightning. So almost half those goals you did were with our fans here in Tampa. So this is why Tampa loves you so much, is because not only 17, half your goals here, your attitude here, you always come back, always have fun. And we always gravitate to those players that look like they're having fun when they're playing and when they're off too. That's always been, I can remember back in the 2021, I think, Stanley Cup parade and stuff, with Yanni Gord, who is riding one of those little wheel things that a dolly. He was riding one of those up and down the sidewalk in the middle of the rain and carries it up on the stage with him. And it seems that the fans always gravitate towards that kind of attitude, that the ones, because you guys are the ones that the fans can be just like. That is how we are when we are watching you guys, to see you guys act like you're also fans, even though you guys are winning it. And I think that's why you're a huge fan favorite here.
Well, no, I think it's the other stat line that I was looking at. The PIM stats, you've got to be in an elusive group. A lot of people celebrate 1,000 games, points, 1,000 penalty minutes, more than 1,169 penalty minutes. It is unreal how many penalty minutes you racked up.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why people loved you, because a lot of those were fights.
Yeah, a lot of them were fights. A lot of them were who knows, misconducts and that. But yeah, it was just the role I played, right? So when you mentioned Tampa, I don't know. This is a place I felt more comfortable. And I remember after '05, after the Cup, I signed as a free agent in Pittsburgh and came back to Tampa. I was so happy just to renew with the environment, the fans there in Tampa. There's something about Tampa, but yeah, it was just I felt like I remember that first game because I was a healthy scratch in Pittsburgh. I wasn't playing, so Jay Feaster made it happen, got me back there. And when they told me you're in tomorrow night, my first thing in mind was I'm gonna fight Andrew Peters. We're playing Buffalo. I remember that, and I was like, no matter what, I'm fighting Peters. And Vinny was telling me, he's like, it's a joke. Teams take advantage of us. They abuse us. They have no respect for us. So we're so happy that you're back here. So I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna change. So I was like, right away tomorrow, first shift. I had it in mind. First shift, I went to Peters. We're going. He's like, all right. And I remember fighting him. He kind of fell down, and I threw a punch. He tried to come back, but it went pretty well. The crowd, the roof like blew. It was so loud in the building. I think that's where it started. The "We Want War" and fans and that. But yeah, you're right. They were just always so good and respected the role I did. And I felt like I owed them something. I owed them to. I was like, I'm gonna go run somebody or fight somebody to make him go crazy and have him cheer our team.
The funny part is, of those 1,169 penalty minutes, again, half of them was with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Over 600 minutes was with the Tampa Bay Lightning. So you get half the goals and half your penalty minutes all here in Tampa.
I'm a Lightning, hey, forever.
Now,
let's go.
You got
Hall of Fame.
It's in the Hall of Fame. We'll be in the press box tomorrow night. We're going to start kind of spreading the word throughout the press box in the building that we got to get you in.
Have it every year. I think Kubina next year. I saw his name. They brought some names out. Pavel Kubina and
Callie's in
yeah,
there.
Callie's in there. Yeah, so maybe
Hobby
one day.
Hobby Bolin's
one day. Yeah, Habby, he deserves it also. But
he does. They could never get him back. And finally, after this last Hall of Fame thing, he did do a speech, and that was the first time he's done a speech for any of the, since he left here, because it was not in good graces when he left here. And so he had always missed everything and finally he did do a video tribute of the last, I think maybe it was the reunion. It was either that or the Hall of Fame. And he said that he was busy coaching or playing or something and couldn't join us. And if he ever comes back to Tampa and they put him in that Hall of Fame this season and he is inducted into that thing, that place is going to go nuts.
My God,
it's going to be really the first time that the fans have really got to thank Hobby Bolin, seeing how we went on strike that following year. And it will just go nuts if we can get Hobby back here.
For sure, and he deserves it. The 04 Cup run, he was a huge reason why we won. You need good goaltending, right, to win championships, and Habby was big, and he deserves it. And I haven't seen him since 04 either, so he wasn't there. He did the video, I think, like you said, but I haven't seen him, and so that'd be great to see him. Even Martin Seaback, I haven't seen him either. Daryl Sador, I haven't seen him, but it'd be good to see all the boys again for sure, but Abby deserves it. If they ever want to put me in the Hall of Fame one day, I will come on stage just with an apron on, naked, and say hi to the fans with a cookie in my butt. Imagine that, eh?
No. That needs to be the statue that they put of you outside of Emily with the cookie hanging out.
Oh, my God. Imagine that, eh? Oh, fuck.
Do you remember? So March 15th, 2002 is when you got traded to the Lightning. At that point, the Lightning had very little success. Like we were building around Vinny, who had these huge expectations, and he's coming into his prime, and we're still like sniffing the playoffs at that point. What did you know about Tampa? Like, did you have any clue what you were kind of getting into?
Really, because I came in as a visitor all the time. I remember with Ottawa, every time I played in Florida and Tampa or Phoenix. I don't know, the heat, the weather. I had no energy. I don't know why, but coming to the rink, I remember that. Like I never had really good games there. I don't know, no jump. It was just weird. So maybe I wasn't just not used to that climate. I don't know, but I know that with the Ottawa Senators, we had a really good team regular season. We lost to the Leafs every first round. I remember I was there in 99, 2000, 2000, 2001. Then 02, 03, 01, 02, I was getting ready. We were probably facing the Leafs again, which they did, but I got traded in March, and I never saw it coming, I got to say. And things were going well. They like I was fighting, hitting, and contributing. Also, here and there, a couple points. Doing some good things anyways, and also there too the fans appreciated me too. They like that type of player, hit, fight, whatever. So but I know Chris Neal came in as a rookie also. He was pretty tough kid too. He had a good career, but we had some injuries, I guess, and they needed to make a move. Mike Fisher at center was hurt, so they traded for me for Juha Hilonen, who was a centerman with the Lightning. But I never saw it coming because, like I said, they were just saying good stuff about me in the paper everywhere, and then boom. And the GM called me. He's like, yeah, we just trade you to Tampa. I want to thank you for everything. And I remember my jaw was just, is this a joke for real? He's like, we needed you. You were the price to pay, Andre. They wanted you. So good luck. He hung up. And I was sad and I was frustrated and I didn't know where I was going because I know the Lightning weren't going in the playoffs and, things were, like you said, it wasn't like it's a good spot but I think hockey was not where it is obviously now. But I remember going to Tampa, staying in the Marriott downtown and going to the games and it wasn't even packed. It was maybe 14,000, 15,000 fans in the building, a lot of, and we were sitting with the guys not playing. We're sitting with the wives and girlfriends. Nobody would talk to us. It was almost like that, it's totally, completely different. Nowadays, I think fans would be, yeah, wow, come here, give me a hug. You want a beer? Let's do some shots. Like it would be totally different, But back then, and then I turned that franchise around and we won a cup. And
all because
I turned that franchise. I love saying that, but no, but yeah. So when I came there but I got used to it, and I was like, man, after a week, 2 weeks, I was like, this is going to be fun, I think. But then I know I got suspended 13 games. I left the penalty box. I think I had a little bit of anger in me, maybe from the trade still, so, and I let it out on the ice, but in a bad way. So sorry, fans. Sorry, Lightning organization for that.
We like that stuff. It's torture.
Yeah. They loved it. Fans were all up, and I was like wrestling. You want to go? Let's go! Ripping my shirt off and Hulk Hogan,
those days. And in the Stanley Cup year, I didn't really realize this till I was looking at your stats earlier. Were you hurt that regular season, or was Torch scratching you? Because so he was scratching you, but. Yeah. You played most of the playoffs. You almost played as many playoff games as you did regular season games. So you were actually a legit piece of the puzzle to win that cup. And to be honest with you, that 2004 cup made this a hockey town. I don't know if the Tampa Bay Lightning exist if you guys don't win that cup in 04.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why Torch sometimes he's hard to understand, like I say, decision he takes. I know he wants to, the other night, I know last week he scratched Mishkov, that young rookie. He's a first round pick of the Flyers. Unbelievable player. He scratched him 2 games in a row, wasn't happy with his 5-on-5. The kid came back, scored a goal and assist, scored a shootout winner the other night. So that's Torts. He wants to, push the right buttons. And I don't know if he was trying to do that year, but I was scratched mostly the whole year. I played 33, like you said, 30-something the year of the Cup, regular season. And I'm not the type of guy who's going to go in the office. Maybe I should have. I was young and my ego also, I was like, he doesn't want to play me. Well, be it and go beep himself, If it's his loss, he doesn't want to play me. him, and that's how I thought. I was like, maybe I should have went talk to him and say, what do you need from me? What do you want? I want to play, but I was like, nah, I don't give a damn about it. So, and it was weird because I asked Jay Feaster that year. I said, Jay, get traded. I don't want to play here anymore. He's not using me. I played 30 games, and that was before the deadlines. March, April, around there. Exactly. I don't know the date exactly, but we're towards the end of the year, maybe 20 games left or something like that, right before the deadline. Or whatever around there. I know it's March, April, or around March because the season ends in April, right? I think. Anyways,
yeah.
So at the end there, I told Jez, like, trade me. I know there's teams that'll want to use me. I'm a physical presence. I know I can play the game. Torts doesn't give a beep about me. I haven't played all year. So Jay's like, okay, let me see. And then I was waiting in Carolina, I remember, and he called me. He's like, Andre, we're not trading you. You're going to sit down with Torts. You guys are going to figure it out together, and I'll be there if you want. We'll have a meeting, but we need you. You're too important. Let you go. We need that physicality. We need you in the playoffs. And then I think we had that meeting. Then we did a rotation of me, Chris Dingman, Martin Seaback, Aaron Perrin. There was 4 or 5 of us, and Ben Clymer. So there was us 5 that were rotating in, out of lineup, in till the end of the year. It was just weird. The last game of the year, Torts like, Andre, you get ready. I'll need you in the playoffs. I was like, huh? You're going to lead me? Like, I played every 2-3 games till the end of the year. I haven't played in 6 months. You played me 30. Now I'm important? Like, he's like, yeah, you're playing in the playoffs. You're on the line, and I need you. It was just weird how things went about, right? So, but the important thing is that he told me he needs me. He wants me in the lineup. Jay decided not to trade me. So I came in the playoffs, and I just brought in the physicality. And obviously I wanted to not take any penalties. And that's something, I got to say that guys like me or Chris Dingman or the tough guys, it's easier to call a penalty that you don't deserve than a guy like me. So I was always scared to hit a guy, he falls down, and I get a charging, a roughing, you name it, high sticking, elbow.
Hold on, though, Andre. You saw 61 penalty minutes.
Oh, yeah. That's right. But those were fights at the end of the games when we're preparing the next game, But it went well, We played the Isles, the Habs. Then it got ugly a little more against the Flyers with Brashear and that. There was a lot of 5-on-5s in Philly. And then Calgary, too. There was physical with Chris Simon. I fought Chris Simon and Oliwa, Regier. They were tough, Calgary, too. But anyways. All day to say that you're right. We need that Fort energy line, people. I know that you have all the goals, but you need that grinding line, that line that's going to get in your face, change the momentum, and just try to spark things when things aren't just working. So I always consider that I did my part, and if we wouldn't have been there, I don't think we would have passed the Flyers and the Flames, honestly. And I'm not trying to, but I think Dingman, myself, Perrin, and then he changed to Seaback. I think we did a great job in the playoffs as a 4-line, and we were a big part of, obviously, you need everyone, and I think we were a big part of that championship.
Huge. And you scored. And to be honest, I'm worried about the Lightning. I think they're a playoff team, but do they have that 3rd and 4th line depth? I really like Luke Glendening as our 4th line center, but do we have those guys that can really grind it out in a playoff run right now? So we'll see if we have the same roster towards the end of the team and see how the team progresses. I got to ask you, my buddy Steve, who I play with, if you ever bring your gear down, let me know, and you can come scare some people in the beer leagues here.
No, I'm done with that. Unless I still play real quick. I still play charity events, and my beer leagues, it's okay. It's all the same guys. They know, but charity events that I do still, sometimes there's some younger kids, they kind of push around that. I was like, as long I don't get a cheap shot, like let's say somebody cross-checks me face first in the boards from behind, then I might go a little
Wasn't it just wasn't Marc-Andre Fleury, wasn't he the one that just went to someone's someone's beer league, and like they didn't realize it was him, and he just starts stopping all the shots, and they're like, "Oh, this goalie's real good," and then it ended up being Marc-Andre Fleury.
Exactly. But I'm past the fighting and dropping the gloves off. Is obviously with everything today, you never know. You don't want to hurt anyone, then find yourself in court or whatever. But obviously, if it's something really cheap that could have injured me really bad, then I think I might, the old Andre might come out of myself. But I hope I doesn't get there anytime soon.
Oh yeah, you don't want to play in my league. We got some real tough guys. Someone
really? Eh?
Hockey, but
I'll take my wrist, Vaseline, and sniffer. Let's go.
There you go. So Steve on my team, he wants to know. He's a Red Wings fan, right? A lot of these people that live down here, they're from up north, and they'll be wearing their Bolts jersey for tomorrow's game, but when Jersey comes to town on Saturday, they got their Devils jerseys on. Those fans need a nickname. I guess they're called Fairweather fans, but he wants to know if you fought Bob Probert from the Wings. Did you ever fight him? Do you remember?
I didn't fight him. He was out west. I always played out east, but I did play against him, and I don't know, I know all the young guys would go, "Hey, Proby, give me a shot, Proby." And I don't know. I remember with Ottawa, we played the Ox. I didn't play him when he was with Detroit. Thank God they had him and Joey Kosher, who were really, really tough. The Bash Brothers, they called them. He will know that, the Red Wing fan there. But with Chicago, it kind of came. We had a little push and shove after the whistle, kind of, but there was no fights. The ref came in. I kind of just looked at him, kind of smiled. I was a little happy, actually. I didn't have to fight him because I watched him as a kid. He was an idol, but also very intimidating. Just his look, his face, big guy, long reach. But obviously, if I had no choice, I probably would have fought him, but I never had a chance. And a funny fact, actually, between the whistle after that happened, I think it was maybe in the following period, I went to, he was right there, and I was like, "Hey, Proby." Then he turned around, looked at me with his look like, "What do you want, kid? I'll kill you." He had that look. I was like, "Oh, I just want to know if you get a chance, can you send me a signed stick? I was a big fan of yours." He's like, "Yeah, I'll send you sticks, no problem." I was like, "Yeah, right, perfect. Hey, by the way, tell that Neil to settle down. I'll rip his head off." Yeah, I'll tell him. I never told Neil. I was like, hopefully he goes after Neil. Chris Neil was a rookie, right? So,
oh, that's good.
But nothing happened. But I still have his stick that he signed for me. So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
While we've been doing this, I've had some people send me some pictures. I started a Facebook group 9 years ago of Lightning fans. Yeah. And I was just doing a quick search of all ex Lightning players that haven't played during the Stanley Cup times. The only ones that get more likes on Facebook is LeCavier and Marty St. Louis. So here is a picture from one of my buddies.
Oh, wow.
2017, you at Disney. You look like you're really in the Disney spirit there. Like you were cheesing it up and having fun there in 2017.
That's 2017?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I'm hammered, for sure.
And then this, Michelle Blevins, I know she's watching. She had posted this picture with the caption of "Wall being Wall." And that was you being the fan of the people. That was me and you last year at the reunion.
Yeah.
And then my friend Ginger, this was the 25th year anniversary. Oh, so nice. That was quite a while ago, 6 years ago. And everybody's like, he's my favorite to get a photo with. He's my favorite to get a photo with.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And
I miss you guys.
I'm sure shooters having tons of messages.
Yeah.
But everybody that's listening to this, they're loving that you're on here. They can't thank you enough. Here, Steven has a question for you. He said, "What's your favorite restaurant to go to while you're here in Tampa?"
Like now, obviously I don't go that often. I would go in Hyde Park. What's that place there? There's the Beachy. Is it Beachy? And then across from there, what's that called? Help me out, people that are.
It's
on
too
the
expensive for me. I don't go past McDonald's.
Yeah, no, but Beachy is an Italian place, and across from there, I don't know. I have a cafe.
Nicole says for Beachy.
For Beachy, thank you. I said Beachy. For Beachy, and across from there, it's a nice little place too. With you can have a drink and that. I've been there too. Help me out, people. But obviously, I still go to Burns. I've been to Burns. I love Burns Steakhouse. Every time I'm in Tampa, if I get a chance, I'll go there. But in Hyde Park, those two places across from Four Beaches, people write that. Do they type in the chat room?
Yeah, Nicole, what's across from Four Beaches?
Yeah. You can have a drink. There's a patio outside. Beautiful people. But no, anyways, that place is awesome too. By the water too. There, what's that place I went with Vinny? Fuck, I'm bad with. But when I was here, I used to go Donatello's.
Is it Meat Market? Are you talking about Meat Market?
Meat Market. That's right. Meat
Market.
Market.
He's probably talking about Meat Market.
Yeah, Meat Market. That was pretty good too. I went there. I thought it was fun, just the atmosphere and that. So
that was your name on the plane.
Exactly. Cuckoo, and then I would drop it again. But peekaboo. But yeah, if you guys have suggestions for restaurant places to go when I'm back in Tampa, I'll be more than happy to try them. So, but you guys are great. Fans are awesome. Thanks for being there, and I appreciate the love. I love you guys too, and I will always say that it was so awesome, my experience there. And when I come back, yeah. We got the blue carpet, whatever. I like to dance and take pictures and whatever with people, chat with people. It's always a good time. It's fun to see that people didn't forget you, after all these years, So,
yeah. I'm glad you actually feel that. You really feel the love from fans, and I'm glad you
That's why I love when they we go on the ice, they introduce us, here are our 2004 Lightning roster, and then we come out, Le Cavalier and that, and then you come out, Andre won, and you're like, woo!
Yeah, there's some players you'll hear people go, oh, I forgot he was on the team, but there's people like Luka, Richards, I mean, and when you think of that team, and you're like, wow, I'm up there with LeCavier, St. Louis, Richards, and Wall, and Hobby Bullen. Like, those are probably the ones that will get the biggest cheer no matter. And then you got Dingman. And then, there's so many there that you can go down the list that even the kids today know who you guys are thanks to these different Hall of Fame ceremonies and the reunions and stuff like that, because then kids get to really learn the history and get to see their parents go, this is Wall, look, here's some video of him, hopefully not the one that Shooter showed earlier where you're interviewing people, but rapping with Wall, but they get to see that, and so then they fall in love with you because they get to see your smile and your electricity there on the blue carpet, and they're like, oh, he's one of my favorite players now too. And it just continues generation and generation, and that's what I love about having you guys back, is people get to see the players that we saw as we were younger.
Yeah, and such great memories too. I mean, we've talked about it on this show, like we used to sleep outside at it wasn't called Amalie back then. The Ice Palace is what it was originally called. When I guess it was
St. Pete Times Forum, or
St. Pete Times Forum, and then the Tampa Bay Times Forum. Yeah. It was originally the Ice Palace, and then
and those were all good times, great memories, and it has been awesome to have you on. I got one more question before we let you go, because we've gone way over where we thought we'd.
By the way, we did tell Andre if he had to go, he could just tell us to fuck off and sign up. So he has been very nice with us and has stayed long.
Hey, before that last question, you guys remember with the 10-year reunion when we were coming out with our skates and going on the ice, and I pretended that I couldn't skate anymore?
Yes.
I don't know if you guys, it's on YouTube. If you write Andre was skating, You'll laugh your butt off, anyways.
We'll post it.
But,
We'll post it on X. So yeah, you had the
yeah.
like
So
you did skate.
we had a golf day and we had some drinks that we kept drinking a little bit. You know, we weren't like passing out or nothing, but we had some cocktails in us. And I remember Luke was like, pretend you're gonna fall in the boards. I was like, no, I'll just go out and pretend I can't skate anymore. And I remember on Twitter, everybody's like, oh my God, what happened to him? Has he been injured? Did he have a stroke? Did he, because I was skating like I couldn't skate. You guys, you'll see on YouTube, whatever.
Yeah,
But anyway, I thought it was just funny.
Are you the bad influence on Brad, or is he the bad influence on you? Because when you two are together, it is mayhem.
Yeah. Together we're pretty wild, eh? They're
should have grabbed it up that quickly.
Look at this.
There it is. Look at this.
And the fans are like, "What's wrong?"
Oh, yeah. and people were chirping me on Twitter. What a plug! What this guy can't play. And the Canucks were in town. Alex Burrows, which I worked out with, he's from here. He played for the Canucks. He was dying laughing. He was wiping his eyes. Like, guys were like, what is he serious? And Burrows was like, no, he's not. Trust me, I know the guy. He's not serious. He's messing around, you know. So guys, okay, because you saw how I skated. I was like, like I can't skate, but I just thought it'd be funny just to act like I forgot how to skate, anyways.
Yeah.
But you could go with your question.
Yeah, no, I wanted to talk a little bit more about kind of how the game's changing, your thoughts on that. But I'd rather ask you this: is there anyone in the NHL today that you kind of compare your game to? Is there any players out there that you say like, yeah, that guy kind of plays like me?
Yeah. Well, if I look around, you know, maybe Nick Delorier in Philly. Delorier, he's a pretty tough kid. He'll fight anyone, and he can play the game. You know, I'd love to say Tom Wilson, but he scores a lot of goals. You know, he's tough, he's physical, but I think I'm better than Matt Rempe, I think, and with the Rangers, big tough kid, but you know, I think I could still play. That's why when people say, "Oh, you were the goon," no, I mean, a goon is a guy that skate like I just showed you on YouTube. Can't play the game, can't pass, can't. You know, you need some certain skills. You need to be able to make passes, shoot the puck, play, be good on 200 feet in your end, in the 3 zone, basically. So I think I was a physical presence and I could play the game. So I think Delorier is not a bad player, you know. Jeannot was okay too. You guys had him, you know, tough kid, could fight and could play. I think the Kings are actually using him on a second line right now, you know, which is, I thought he's been suspended for his hit, you know, but Ryan Reeves, he's okay.
I mean, you'd fight anyone, right? You'd throw the gloves off. You think you could take Jeannot, though? Because I don't know if I've ever seen a better fighter. Like, he was knocking out people here the last couple of years.
He was tough. But you guys see his fight with Shen in Nashville last week or 2 weeks ago?
Oh, yeah.
Shen pummeled him pretty good. He took, and I think earlier also in the season, he fought another guy and didn't go too well for him. I was like, what's going on with Jeannot? 2 fights but it happens, you know, me too. I got my bell ringing that, but it happens to everyone.
You remind her of Brady Tkachuk.
I kind of thought the same thing.
Brady Tkachuk. Yeah,
I also think of Brian Boyle-ish. When we had Boiler here, he was not afraid to scrap with anybody. He was also a big guy like you, and I just thought that kind of reminded me of someone Wallish.
Brian Boyle was a big guy, killed penalties. He didn't fight all the big heavies though. Like I kind of had to answer the bell to the big guys, but Brady Tkachuk, that's a compliment. He's so great. He plays well. He's physical. He's not afraid to drop the mitts. I like him actually with as a player, but I could fight. Yeah, for sure, I'd fight Jeannot. You know, back in the days in my prime, like I fought the Brashears, the Simon, the Colton Orr, Eric Goddard, Belak, Ty Domi, you name him. You know, even ends Peter Worrell, Colton Orr. Yeah. Anyways, but whoever was the tough guy, when you had a job to do, and when you had to go, you'd go. So if I'd have to fight, I'd fight. Obviously Reeves Delorier, Jeannot, the big Rempy kid. But yeah, it wasn't always what I wanted to do, but I understood it was part of my role too. Like I wish I could have scored goals and be like Vinny and Louis, those guys. So today, all I do is drink beer, smoke cigars, and play golf.
Well, hey, thank you so much for
Thank
jumping
you,
on.
guys.
Not only for jumping on here, but being part of this organization and what you guys did back in 2004. Like I said earlier, I mean that really was the igniter in everything that you've seen here over the last 15 plus years now. Mm-hmm. So the fans like myself and Thomas, a lot of people that'll listen to this and that are watching, we remember that. We remember you, and we always will appreciate you for that. So anytime you come to Tampa, people better be buying your beers for you. Nicole said the Pearl. Go check out the Pearl. It's awesome. Just go down Water Street next time you're here.
Yeah. I will. I'll do we'll do just a bar run. We'll do every bar and grab a bus. And
you know who you'll run into, right?
Not sure who.
Ric Flair is always at a bar downtown. Keep an eye out. You will probably run into Ric Flair at one of those bars.
That'd be awesome. But yeah, I should organize something like that in Tampa. I rent a huge bus, and then people pay to go bar hopping.
Oh my God, you would make so much money. You'd make more money than your last NHL contract.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, then I'd be the tour guide. All right now we're gonna get off here and we're gonna go and get hammered, do tequila, come back in half hour and go to the next bar. Let's go.
Nicole here says yes, group bar crawl with us.
Well, a lot of people are going to remember this. When we had Dinger on, Chris Dingman, it was in the middle of a Lightning bar crawl. We're on the computer, gathered around the computer at a bar in the middle of a bar crawl right before the playoffs, and we're trying to explain to him, this isn't normally how it is, but you're in the middle of a bar crawl. He didn't mind.
No, absolutely not. Dinger loves his beers too. So you guys were great. Thank you so much. Thank you to the fans also. I love you guys, and I miss you. And I'll be back in Tampa eventually. We'll figure out something. Let's go,
we got
Lightning.
Call me. Ceremony coming up, so you're gonna have to be here for that, because it's definitely going to be someone from your class again.
For sure, man. I'll be there for all of them. Even if I don't know the players, I'll still be there just for support. In the meantime, Coop, you need an assistant? I'm here. Call me.
Awesome. All right, man. Thanks again.
All right, guys.
So much for jumping on.
Thank you.
Give us a call when you come down to Tampa.
Keep up the good work. Take care, guys.
All right. Appreciate it. All right. That was Andre Waugh. That was pretty good.